Have you ever wanted to create Instagram reels that have that vintage old school look where you've got film grain, film mats, soft colors, and aesthetic fonts? Well, this is what I want to show you how to create today, so let's go ahead and hop right into it. My name is Justin, and for the last 5 years, I've been a full-time video editor, and today I want to show you how to create these vintage old school looking reels, and personally, I think they just look fire. In the top link of this video, I'm going to drop my vintage preset kit built for Adobe Premiere Pro. By no means, you don't need to buy it, but if you plan on making multiple of these reels, that's going to save you a ton of time in the long run, and it's just going to help you boy out and live his dream. So again, top link is going to take you to my website Creator Club or justinlistenby.com, where I have tons of different editing presets for you. So now let's go ahead and hop into Adobe Premiere Pro. Looking into Premiere, we're going to go up to new project, going to title it vintage. And so now pulling up the Finder, I'm just going to go ahead and drag and drop our footage into the timeline. Extra step for me, I like to record my audio separately through this microphone. Since it's a different track, I'm just going to nest these two together, but you guys won't have to do this part. And so now we have pretty much all of our footage ready to go. So the way I like to go about my workflows, I like to cut up all my footage first, and then we can go back and do all our visual effects. With that said, I'm going to pull up our blade tool, hitting C on the keyboard, and I'm just going to delete all of the dead space in this clip or other parts where I mess up. So I'll speed this up for you guys really quick so we can go and move on to our next step. Cool. Now all of our footage is cut up and it's ready to go. So for me to start this reel, the first thing that I want to do is I want to color grade it. I want to be honest, I'm not good at color grading. So I do have a couple different ways to help me out. One is going to be using the Jax Films LUTs. I'm going to drop that link below. I'm not affiliated with them or anything. I don't make any money. It's just what I use because I'm not really good when it comes to color, and it helps me a ton. Or the other way is that I do have a preset in my vintage film kit. And so we're going to be utilizing both of these here. So whichever way you want to color grade, totally up to you. So now up here at our very top, I'm just going to go back to our effects, and I'm going to add a lumetri color to all of our footage. Highlight this and drag and drop it on. So if we go into our effects tab and we go down to creative, hit look, and then for me, I like to do my S-Log 3 to Rec 709. So now we sort of have a base going on, and then I want to go back and add one of my vintage film LUTs. So up top, we go to presets, then we do vintage film kit, and then for this, just given how my room is kind of set up, I want to use the vintage warm LUT. So drag and dropping this on, it's actually looking pretty good, but there is something I just want to try. I'm going to go back to lumetri color, drag a second one on, and creative, look, then I'm going to do the days to log. This is from the Jax Films LUT kit, and then turn the intensity way down. I want to do, let's do 34. Okay, low key. I just tried that on the fly. I think it looks pretty solid, not gonna lie. Another thing is that you're gonna see that there's noise on this LUT. So in case you don't buy the kit, I'm gonna delete this for now, and then we'll come back to it and I'll show you guys how to do it kind of towards the end. And then we only have this applied to just one clip. So I'm just gonna go and select all of these, holding down Command or Control, and we're gonna copy it, highlight the other two clips, and then hit Command V. And so now you can see all the color is applied to everything in the video. The next step into making this vintage film reel style look is that we need a film mat around our whole video. That's the black border that you'll see in a lot of these style videos. So for this, there's two ways. In that vintage film kit, I have a whole pack for you of these animated film mats that you can use in your video. So if I pull up the kit and I go to vertical, I want to do no noise for this one, but you can see there's a few different styles in here, but I do really like the first one. So you'll see what this one looks like. So if we scale it up to 200, and then for our blend mode, we go down to multiply, just like that, simple drag and drop. We now have one of these film mats around our video. In case if you don't have the pack, I will show you how to do this manually, but I don't think it looks anywhere near as good in my opinion, but nonetheless, I'll show you how to do it anyway. I do want to run that other film mat that I made. So for the sake of the video, I'm just going to duplicate this nested sequence, but you don't need to duplicate it if you're not putting a separate film mat on top, if that makes any sense. So the first thing that you want to do is you're going to just scale it down. So now we kind of sort of have a rough idea of what we're trying to do here. And before we make it rounded, you want to get your composition right. And so if you come up here to the top left, you'll see crop left, crop top, so on. Just go ahead and crop whichever way to you that looks good. So I'm actually going to scale this up a little bit, and then I want to crop the top, and then that was 9%. We can do 9% on the bottom. So now it should look pretty good. And so now once we have this dialed, because we mess with the cropping and everything, you're just going to right click on that footage and then nest it. Hit OK. So it kind of just defaults it back to normal. And then in our effects tab, we're going to do roughen edges. Drag and drop this onto our footage. For the edge type, I want to do cut. And for our border, I'm going to set it to about 200. And I'm going to turn the scale way up, somewhere around like the 370, 380 range looks good. And then turn down our complexity to just 1. And the last thing, I just want to turn that fractal influence down to 0, and boom. Now you have your film mat. So if we play it back,
wanted to create this.
We're definitely looking pretty good now. But as I said, I do want to use the one that I made. So I'm just going to delete that and then drag and drop mine on. Just drag it on, delete the rest. Gonna unlink it real quick and delete the audio. Go back to 200, blend mode, multiply. Boom. We're back. That easy. Don't have to do the roughen edges. Not trying to sell you though. You don't have to. I'm just preaching it because I think it saves so much time. Next step into this vintage style reel, we want to do our caption. So at the very top, if we go up to text, go over to transcript. I don't know why it did this. I don't know if I've ever had this happen, but the transcript automatically generated. But if you don't have that, I don't know why it did. I don't know if that's new or what happened. But if you go to these 3 dots on the side, you want to do generate static transcript, and then you would just do transcribe. But because mine's already done, we're already good to go. This is my personal opinion, but I don't like to have grammar in my reels or in my captions. So if I double click on these lines, that's going to allow me to adjust the text. So now I'm going to delete all the capitals, commas, periods, whatever. I think it just looks way more clean in my opinion. And then the other thing is that you want to look out for typos. If you see anything spelled wrong, just go ahead and fix it. It's not a pain if you recognize it later, but it's just easiest to just have it right the first time. Going to go through these next 2 lines and then just make sure that they are all good to go. Right here, you see an apostrophe. That's like the one thing where I'm fine with it because technically is how it should be spelled anyway. So I do leave those in though. Into it, and boom, our transcript is done. So now if we do captions and then create captions from transcript, under the captioning preferences, you want to leave this as subtitle, style none, and then maximum length and characters. I would say somewhere like 12 to 14 is good for short form content. I'm just going to leave it at 13 just because this is literally how many characters are in one line, and so can't fit too many letters in there. So that's why we keep it pretty low. And then for the minimum duration in seconds and the gap between captions, you just want to turn these all the way down as far as you can. Just because when you leave these turned up, it just kind of gets all weird. So keep them just down as far as you can. And then lines, single, and hit create captions. So now at the very bottom, you can see that we have all of our captions ready to go. Now, if I highlight all of them and we head over to the properties tab, this is where you kind of start to have some fun with it. And so for the text, personally, I like to use SF Pro. This is a font from Apple, but use whatever you like. I know like Open Sans is a big one. I butchered it in the last video. New Haas Grotesque, I think is how you're supposed to say it. I said it so bad in the last video. Find whatever font you like that you think fits the vibe. So I'm going to do SF Pro Bold, and then I'm going to center it, scale it up a little bit, and then I want to move it down a little bit. Kind of just get it to wherever you think fits best in your composition. And in this case, I think this looks pretty good. Maybe just a little bit more. And then for your shadow, just turn down the opacity a little bit, bring your distance up, just kind of create like a softer look. And then that's pretty much good to go. I just want to watch this back and make sure that the captions look good. Sometimes because we only have like 13 letters in one line, some captions are like super short and only one word. So I want to go back and just make sure everything looks good. So I'll go ahead and do that. So like right here, the sentence ends, but it has the 2 captions in it. So I'm going to go to the last caption and just add in look. And then in this one, I'm just going to change it to where you've, and then delete look.
Old school look where you've got,
and then just readjust the timing of that.
Old school look where you've got.
All right, let's play it back and see how that looks.
Old school look where you've got film grain, film mats, soft colors, and aesthetic fonts.
Bang, almost there. I just noticed this well was just one word. Move this one back and change this to well. Cool. So all of our captions are pretty much good to go now. So highlight them all, graphics and titles, and then we're gonna do upgrade caption to graphic. So now this is where the fun part starts, and we can really start to like bring out the animation into this video. So throughout these captions, I just want to figure out what kind of effects do I want to put on my captions. So we're gonna go through, watch it back, and just kind of figure everything out. Real quick, I do want to change this first caption. I want to change it to have you ever. All right.
Have you ever wanted to create Instagram Reels?
This is exactly where I want to create my first effect. So I'm going to move Instagram up, drag it out, and now we have Instagram and Reels stacked on top of each other. In our effect controls, I want to just move this up a little bit. I think Reels, I can scale it up and then readjust it as we need. And then right click, hit nest, hit OK. And then I just want to move this way up and then scale it up a bit. See what we're looking like.
To create Instagram Reels that have that vintage.
I think I want to add an animation out, so I do need to make it a little bit longer. So I'm just going to get these layers out of the way. I'm just going to right click, do add frame hold, just extend it out a little bit, nothing too crazy.
Reels that have that
and then hide them both and do nest. So I want to do a difference blend mode on the text, and so I'm just going to drag and drop one of my presets onto our nested sequence. It's pretty subtle in this clip specifically, but I do think it still looks good. The blend mode on this side, you can just do blend mode instead of normal, just change it to difference and you'll get the same look. And I think for this, I want to do a smooth disappear. This one's actually in effect. I have it in a couple different kits. As you can see, I have it in my text effects kit, clean aesthetic or animate. But before I show you how to do it, I just want to show you what it looks like really quick. So I think for this, I want to do smooth disappear up.
I wanted to create Instagram Reels that have that vintage.
It's definitely pretty clean. And I do want to show you how to create this effect. So if you don't have the kit, in your effects tab, just do transform and then just drag and drop it onto your clip. I'm going to turn the composition shutter angle off, and then your shutter angle, bring it all the way up. And this is going to create a motion blur effect. And I pretty much just use it on like every single time I need to use transform because I think it just looks super good. And so for this, you're going to be adjusting the position and the opacity. So I'm going to start off at the very end of our clip, and then I'm just gonna move it out to where I want it to end up. So I'm gonna hit a keyframe there for position, and then our opacity, we can do like 10, keyframe it there, and then move it back a little bit and go back to where it was at 1920 and back to 100. We're on the right path. Let's see what it looks like.
Instagram Reels that have that.
So you can see it's like, it's got the vibe, but it's not smooth at all. So to do this, you can see our 4 keyframes. I'm just going to select them all, right click temporal interpolation and hit Bezier. And then in these drop downs, you can kind of see these little, I don't know what you would call them, these little points. And you just want to start messing around with them. For this first dot, you want to line up as evenly as possible. Otherwise, it's going to be very jittery, like when it starts and stops. So I want to move that out. And then for the opacity, we can just leave that for this effect. Just this very end needs a little bit of adjusting. I just have to drag it out a little bit. The one thing I will say is make sure that the film mat is our top layer.
Create Instagram Reels that have that vintage.
Cool. Looking good. And then for this text, I want to do the exact same thing. You're going to do it the exact same way, but I'm going to right click, nest. That way it applies it to both text layers. And then I want to do a smooth reveal. Drag it on, see what it looks like.
Instagram Reels that have that vintage, old school.
Bang. Okay, looking good. So now let's just see what other effects we want to do.
Look where you've got film grain, film mats, soft colors. And
for aesthetic fonts, I do want to change the font of this because if you notice in a lot of these style of videos, they use a lot of like script fonts. And for me, I like to use the font Renaissance. So if we go back to properties, change it to Renaissance. It's a little hard to read at times, but just choose a font that you like. You don't have to do this by any means. Just do whatever you think looks best for your reel. And then I'm just gonna mess around with it a little bit, kind of just figure out how I want it to look. So I think I might do 2 lines, change our alignment, and then scale this bottom text up a bit, bring these closer together. Cool. I think that looks pretty good. I just want to scale this up definitely a little bit more. Let's see what this looks like.
Film mats, soft colors, and aesthetic fonts. Well, this is what I want to show.
I think that looks really good. You can definitely create a pretty good vibe by using script fonts in this kind of style of video. And then for this last bit, I want to go back and center this. I click on one of them, click on our text, and then we can just center it back to the middle. Bang. Cool.
This is what I want to show you how to create today. So let's go ahead and hop right in.
And so for this, I want it to be on a solid background. So if we go into all of our imports, we do new item, and then we do color matte. We just come down, hit OK. And I kind of want to do like an off-white, slightly warm tone color for this. Hit OK. And then drag and drop this beneath our text. just trim off the rest of it. And I want to change the text color of all this. So highlight them all, go under fill, and just find whichever color you want to run. And I think that looks pretty good.
Okay, so let's go ahead and hop right into it.
So now I want to add a noise to this whole project. In our nested sequence, I want to go to effects, and we're going to go down and do noise, and then under noise and grain, drag in noise. And then for the noise, I like to turn this up to about 20% or so, and then turn off color noise, and then leave the clipping the same. So now we can kind of see what this looks like.
Have you ever wanted to create Instagram reels that have that vintage?
It's kind of hard to tell in playback, but when it's static like this, is what it's actually going to look like. I think it looks super good. It's like a super clean look. Gonna click on this, hit Command C, and then apply this to both of our clips. So now we have it added to the whole reel. So the reel for the most part is complete. I just want to go back and add some like super subtle effects that just give it an extra little pop. One of those being is a camera pull. This is also in one of my kits. This is my clean and aesthetic kit. I'm gonna do a camera pull and focus so you can see what this kind of looks like.
Have you ever wanted to create Instagram reels?
I think this looks super good in your hook, but if you want to see how this is done, if you remember what we did with the keyframes on the smoothly reveal, if we do a transform and scale, this is what that animation looks like that you can replicate for yourself. And then I also keyframed a Gaussian blur from 25 down to 0. So that's how you do the camera pull and focus effect.
Have you ever wanted to create Instagram reels that have
this section right here where I have it cut? I want to do a film burn on it. I do also have a film burn pack. You don't need this. I do think film burns are just a nice touch on top of your video. By no means they aren't super necessary. So if I go back to our products and then do our film burn pack, vertical, I think 6 usually looks pretty good. So I'm just going to go and drag this one on. And at the very top, scale it up to 200 and then change our blend mode to screen. Then I do also have a sound effect I just want to drag in really quick and add that in. So now we have something that looks like this.
old school look where you've got film.
And then for this nested sequence, I want to do a zoom out. So I'm going to drag and drop this on. So let's go ahead and see what this looks like.
Old school look where you've got film grain, film mask.
Looks super good. All this is again, transform, and then I scaled it from 110 back to 100. And that's all it is for that effect. And then I want to add a second film burn just because this is a different font. It's going to give it a more natural look when it goes back to this regular font. So go back to our vertical film burns, and then I think 3 will look pretty good. Just drag and drop this on, scale it up to 200, blend mode, and do screen. And then I'm just going to duplicate the sound effect, move this over.
Fonts. So this is what I want to show you how to create today.
Boom, looks super good. We pretty much have this whole reel done. And now let's just give it a final walkthrough and just make sure everything looks good.
Have you ever wanted to create Instagram reels that have that vintage old school look where you've got film grain, film mats, soft colors, and aesthetic fonts? Well, this is what I want to show you how to create today. So let's go ahead and hop right into it.
So it's super clean. A lot of people like to use B-roll for this. All the same concepts will apply. Just put whatever B-roll you want on top. But that is how you can create these vintage reels. I think they look super good. Again, if you want any of these presets, they are going to be linked. First link in the description, justinlisme.com. If you do plan on creating a lot of content in this style, it will help save you a lot of time, but again, don't have to. But hope you guys create some fire content. Excited to see what you guys make out of it. And if you want to see a video where I show you how to do a clean and aesthetic reel, I'm going to leave that video up right here for you guys. So thanks for stopping by, and I will see you in this video.